Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here today. You might wonder how this gray-haired old guy with very geeky College of Technology is here to talk about leadership. And it really goes back to my 5th grade when I was elected president of my 4-H archery club, the Broken Arrows. And this has become a lifelong mission of mine to do this and to talk about leadership, and I do it in my classes, and it's a very big part of my life. What I've discovered is that there are certain attributes that define leadership. What's great about this is that at the end of this talk today, you're going to learn 2 things. Number 1, how to identify authentic leaders. This country and this world is, in many cases, being run by leaders who don't really have what it takes to lead, and they're in it for the wrong reasons. And the second one is you can actually become a great leader. What I've discovered, if you work on those attributes, you can become a great leader. And so that's what you're going to learn today. It doesn't matter if you're young, old, tall, short, good-looking like me, or ugly like that guy in the second row. You are going to be able to be a great leader after I finish my presentation. So the first thing we have to get straight is there is a difference between leadership and management. You can be a great manager, but you can be an awful leader. An example of that is, let's talk sports. You can be a great position coach in football, get promoted to a head coach, and you're a miserable failure because the skill set is different. For leaders, it's about vision. It's about passion. It's about the big picture. For management, it's about the individual person. And so it's a totally different way of going about your day-to-day business. And what happens in our society is, in many cases, we will promote great managers and expect them to become great leaders. And it's a failed way of doing it. And that goes to the root cause of why we have many poor leaders in the positions that we have in society. There's also very much a misguided understanding of what great leadership is. Our society, in general, mistakes charisma for leadership. That's not what it's about. It's much deeper than that, and I'll tell you about what that is as we go through this presentation. Our society is the most extroverted society in the world, and that then manifests itself in us selecting leaders who aren't really ready to be leaders and are in it for the wrong reasons. If you want to be a great leader, this is the one that you need to know more than any. There are 5 traits I'm going to give you. The first one, it always starts with the vision. If you do not have a strong vision, nothing else matters. And it always starts with a why. And so if you think about great leaders, Abraham Lincoln, saving the Union, ending slavery. Very simple, right? Very simple and powerful message. Vince Lombardi, win NFL championships. Winning isn't the only everything, it's the only thing, is a quote that he's had. Martin Luther King, it was about turning the society upside down and ending segregation. Very simple message. What's great about Martin Luther King, and it describes every great leader, is he said that he had a vision, right? That what he wanted to do was change the nation. I have a dream. He didn't say, I have a plan, a 12-point plan, right? I have a dream. And he brought people towards that dream. And you can see that over and over again with great leaders, a very simple, powerful message. And it's because it's their vision. They will walk through walls in order to get what they need to do to implement that vision. And so it always starts with a vision. Find something you're passionate about, and that's the way to go. The next one is you have to be optimistic. You have to believe that things will get better no matter how bad they are. Winston Churchill, in the depths of World War II, rallied his nation and was able to save Great Britain. What's interesting is after World War II, he was kicked out of the office because his vision didn't align to the post-war Great Britain. So again, the vision wasn't aligned at that point because it was over. The war was done. But you have to fundamentally be optimistic. Churchill, by the way, had fits of depression, but it never got in his way of his optimism toward his vision of saving Great Britain. So you have to be optimistic that things will always be better, and you have to portray that to everyone around you. In other words, the message is always good, even if it's not. This next one is very, very dangerous. But great leaders have to have a big ego. They have to believe that what they believe is right. The problem is some people become egomaniacs because it becomes about themselves and not about the organization that they're trying to change. And that's where the great leaders can start to fail. They can actually start off with a great vision. They can have optimism, but their ego gets in their way. Power corrupts, but they somehow are able to channel their ego into good. This next one I already mentioned a little bit, and that's charisma. Somehow you have to be able to connect with the people that you're involved in, okay? Believe it or not, I'm a very quiet, shy person, okay? But you put me in front of a group like this where I can talk about something I'm passionate, I can become a little bit more charismatic, George Clooney-like, okay? I've been told I look like him, but I know those in the back can't quite tell. But you have to have charisma, and you have to use it to sell your ideas. This next one is passion. You can probably tell I'm a little bit passionate. I've been called a preacher at times. You have to show great passion in what you do. And passion is what drives you when things don't go well. It keeps you going internally. And that passion then is brought out to everyone that you're trying to lead, and they just pick up on it. And they will go places that they would never go until that leader stepped into place. And so passion, again, is very, very important. And then finally, you have trust. But the trust is so deep and so great that it turns to faith. That's where you will allow a leader to take you places that you would never have even dreamt about trying before. The trust has to be so deep that it turns to faith. And that's the true sign of leaders. When people start rallying around and they simply believe in the leader, and it makes tremendous difference in the organization as we move forward. Finally, those 5 attributes have to be wrapped around your personal values. If your personal values are misaligned with what you are doing, the organization you're working for, you will fail. That's where you see many people that were great leaders put into a different situation. It wasn't aligned with their values, and they end up failing. It all comes back to your personal values. You have to align your personal values with what it is you're trying to do. Otherwise, you'll be a failed leader. So if you think about this, you now have what it takes to identify great leaders because of those 5 attributes. When in doubt, turn into a 3-year-old and keep on asking why. Why of the leader? Why are you doing this? And if they cannot break it down very, very simply, they probably don't have the right value defined, and they will be a failed leader. And let me tell you quickly about a story of myself. My wife and I had a conversation 2 years ago about to this day, about me wanting to go for the dean of the College of Technology. and I was wavering. I said, I don't think I should do this. And she said, don't retire and come back and say to yourself that you didn't take the chance. Being a leader can be very scary. You have to put yourself out there. But I've given you the 5 attributes and the wraparound value message so that you too can be a great leader, even this ugly guy in the second row. Thank you very much.